David?
Okay.
Call the meeting to order.
Well, mine doesn't show that it's recording, but anyway.
It doesn't.
All right. Well, I'd say welcome to the, July 30th meeting of the North Texas E-Club. We potentially may have a couple of people, their work situation is where they can't go to the club they're in now, and they think they might be able to go to our E-Club.
That would be fantastic.
Yeah, they're both, past presidents, and one of them's a past assistant governor, and
Oh, good.
they're good people.
Excellent.
But anyway, and I guess, invocation?
Rick does invocation.
Normally,
That's Rick.
normally we ask Rick to do that.
Okay. Let's bow our heads to our Creator, each of you in your own way, as I do a little prayer to get us started. We thank you, Lord, for all the gifts and talents we have received, and we pray that we may be able to use those in Rotary and as we go through our lives in our communities and around the world to help others. Please continue to bless our leadership so we can be effective in our Rotary plans. And may we always remember the blessings that we have and share those with others. All these we ask in His name. Please accept our prayer as we lift it up in His name. Amen.
I just want to add, let's also wish for Rick to have a speedy recovery and a good outcome.
And I'll update you, Linda. I told you.
Okay,
Yeah.
pledge, and I'm supposed to stand,
The pledge.
but I'm laptop in my lap, and if I stand, it falls on the floor. So pretend that I'm standing. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United
Of the United
States of
States
America,
of America.
And to the republic for which it
For
stands,
which it stands,
one nation, under God.
one nation,
indivisible,
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right.
And I think we pretty well discussed everything. We've got Challenge Air coming up in October, but doesn't get rained out again. And for our speaker, Challenged Air is when Rotarians that own airplanes would go out to an airport and they bring challenged kids. It may be mental, it may be physical, it may be both. And they put them in the airplane with parent or caretaker, and they fly them around for 20 minutes. And they let them fly the airplane. I think I can guarantee that the pilot's hands are not very far away from the control. It's a good experience. And except the one kid, when it was time to get out, he froze. And we had a real problem getting him out. But anyway, and what else?
We were going to hear from Rick. He was going to tell
We're
us.
going to hear from
did
Rick,
you
David.
talk about the membership meeting?
Nope, we already done that.
We done-
But now
we
it's
done
Rick's
that?
turn.
Okay.
We've already done that.
All right. What else do I want to talk about?
Rick is getting ready to talk.
All right. Then why don't we let the speaker speak?
No, Rick is going to talk.
Oh, Rick?
He can't hear us.
He can't
Rick-
hear us.
Rick is
I
going to,
tune her out. I try to mute her, but
Rick is
Just until
going to give us an update on his situation.
Yeah, as you guys know, I've been going through chemo and radiation, and I've had MRIs following each therapy, and in the past, I've had good reports back saying things are stabilized. And I've recently seen my chemo oncologist and my neurosurgeon, and they thought things were doing well. Well, I did an MRI on the 8th of the month, and then I got not the same results as we've been having. The tumor material, the fiber, had grown back into the cavity where they had removed the tumor back in November. And so that prompted some calls between a couple of my doctors and appointments being set up to go visit them. And I've talked to, I think last week, 5 different doctors, including one on a clinical trial. But the problem is that it's a very aggressive type of glioblastoma cancer, and there's not much else they can do except go in now and surgically remove what has grown back. It'd be the same process I went through before at the same hospital with the same team. Got Zell Lipsy. I've got surgery scheduled for August 9th. I don't know what time. I have pre-op on the 1st, and they'll tell me then. But I'll update everybody, and my sister will be trying to keep people informed as well on text. She'll be around to help me, and when I get home. But knock on wood, everything will go just as well as it did last time, and I appreciate everybody's good wishes and prayers through the last round because they got me through everything okay. And that's what I know. We've been talking to other doctors about follow-up therapy with maybe some other chemo drug, but those trials are scattered around, and I have to be checked out, and they have to look at my tissue and know that I'm qualified for their trials. So we don't know of one particular yet. Now, my sister's been investigating one that this guy up in Oklahoma took a chemical that was being used to treat animals for, things like parvo and worms and stuff. And he's had success with it. So there's a group studying this chemical now, and I don't know that I'm ready to take that one because it hasn't been proven and tested on humans. They're doing some tests in lab right now on mice, but we'll see. Just pray that they discover something to counteract my particular glioblastoma. And I'll have that available soon, hopefully. A friend of mine who's got cancer talks about somebody over in Israel that's working on a cancer drug right now. And he just found out that his cancer that he had last year, some of it's now moved to his liver. So he's hoping that they make progress on the drug in Israel. But I do as well. So anyway, that's what's going on with me. I will not be there at the meeting on the 8th or be here due to that. So
Well, we'll miss you. So,
I'll be back as soon as I can.
Okay. We wish you well.
Thank you.
I think we all do. Okay, are we ready for the program? Howard, you know
Yes.
the speaker.
Okay.
Why don't you
Well,
introduce-
Mel is our speaker tonight. Mel, you could tell them a little about your topic and a little of your background. And you have up to 30 minutes. You don't have to go 30 if you don't want to, but you have up to 30 minutes. And we welcome you to be the speaker tonight.
Okay, perfect. I may have to condense my speech just a little bit. I planned for an hour, but it is okay. Before I start, Rick, I will keep you in my thoughts and prayers. I hope everything goes well for you. I don't think I can hear him.
Mel, if you want to use PowerPoint, if you want to, you can. Did you want to?
No.
he doesn't have one.
Okay.
Or you can play the piano like Mel Torme.
Yeah.
I can do that as well. Thank you, guys. So a little bit about me. My name is Mel Andre. I am an entrepreneur, motivational speaker, life coach, and business consultant. And just the gist about me is my passion in life is helping people. In all of my companies and all of my projects and everything I do, I'm really focused on helping people. And helping people in different ways. something that I've noticed is, when we first start a project, a company, a business, a school, anything, we are really excited. We attend webinars, we attend seminars, we're constantly reading books about the topic. We are excited and we're ready to go, and we put our full energy and our passion into the project that we're working on. And eventually we may hit a roadblock, we may stumble across an obstacle, but our motivation is still high. But as we continue moving forward, as we continue on our success path and our success journey, we start hitting bigger obstacles, we start hitting bigger roadblocks, and we may feel a sense of anxiety, we may get stressed out. And as we hit more roadblocks and more obstacles, our motivation starts to slip. And today, what I really want to talk about is how to stay focused when the motivation is gone. Now, to start things off, I always tell people you want to start working on the focus before you start losing the motivation. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about a year that I went through. We call it the year of hell, and how I basically lost my motivation, but I was able to stay focused on my goal and build everything back up. So I went through this year where everything went absolutely wrong. Every couple of weeks, something catastrophic would happen. It started off with one of my best friends being in the hospital off of a suicide attempt. A few weeks later, I had a relative die. 3 weeks after that, I fell down a manhole while I was walking my dog. A couple weeks after that, I was in a really freakish car accident. In that entire year, I was in 3 car accidents, which weren't my fault, and they were complete freak accidents. And I won't go over the entire year, but I was going through a time in my life where if it could go wrong, it went wrong. And at this time, I was running 2 businesses. I had employees, but I wasn't as motivated as I used to be because I was in a situation where I wasn't focusing. And I didn't know how I could continue going, how I could stay focused, how I could stay motivated. And there were a couple things I looked at and how I saw how I did continue going and how I did continue staying focused and eventually got the motivation back. Now, one of the things that helped me was before the year of hell, I had put in place a lot of positive habits. I think positive habit building is one of the things that can really help take people from, being mediocre to the success that they want. Now, what is a habit? According to dictionary.com, a habit is a routine of behavior that is repeated regularly and tends to occur subconsciously. We all have habits, whether they are good habits or whether they are bad habits. An example of that habit that we all have is brushing our teeth. We don't wake up in the morning and say, oh my gosh, I have to brush my teeth. No, we built the habit since we were young, and now we just automatically go and brush our teeth in the morning. Habits really make us who we are. Motivation can fade, but if you do build the right habits, it can help get you through tough times in life, even when the motivation is there, and it can help keep you focused on what you need to do. So the first step in building habits that can help keep you focused is to eliminate the bad habits. Now, we all have bad habits. I have bad habits. We all have them. So what we want to try and do is first realize what our bad habits are and try to replace them with good habits. Now, habits are really ran on a habit loop. So we want to break the cycle of bad habits and insert the positive habits into those. So building positive habits. You really want to start building positive habits when you are excited, when you're in a good mood, when you're motivated. You want to set a goal that you can actually accomplish. You really want to plan and prepare, and you want to execute the plan consistently. And then once you execute the plan consistently, you really want to celebrate the success that you're having. So I will give you an example of what a habit loop is. Basically, you have the cue. That's basically what triggers the habit. And then you have the routine, and that is the action that you want to either break or you want to continue doing. And then you have the reward. And all habits fall onto these cue, routine, reward. So let's work through building a positive habit. And one example is waking up early. And the reason why I really use this example of waking up early is when I was in my year of hell, I was suffering from major depression. I was suffering from major anxiety. I would just wake up in a panic, but I wouldn't want to leave my bed. But something that really helped keep me going, keep me moving forward, was this habit that I had formed years ago when I started my fitness company, and that was waking up at 4 a.m. Now, if I never started this habit of actually waking up at 4 a.m. years ago, I would have never continued that habit when I was going through the anxiety, when I was going through the depression, and when my motivation just wasn't there. So forming the positive habit of waking up. Like I said, you want to start when you're excited. Decide when you are excited and motivated that you're going to just start waking up early. Really dig down and say, this is what I want to do. And then you want to set the goal that you want to accomplish. You want to be kind of specific. So tell yourself, I want to wake up at 5 a.m. every weekday. Be specific with your goal. The specific is very, very important. And then you want to plan and prepare. How many hours do you need to sleep to function properly? What time do you need to sleep? So you said close out the days before. Building these plans helps you actually accomplish the goal. And then execute that plan consistently. Tell yourself that I'm going to set the alarm every day for 5 a.m. And then once you are doing it, celebrate your success. When you wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, celebrate, do a dance, reward yourself with a cup of coffee. Give yourself that reward to help you build into it and help it become a habit. Now, if you fall short, because I'm going to say right now, everyone falls short when they're trying to build a habit. Do not kick yourself. You tell yourself, you know what? I didn't do it, but I'm going to fix this. I'm going to do X, Y, and Z differently in order to make myself wake up at 5 a.m. And I know I used the example of waking up at 5 a.m., but using this plan to create that cue, the routine, and the reward to work for any habit that you want to build. Now, something else that you want to do before the motivation starts leaving is really building SMART goals. Does everyone know what SMART goals are? Yes? No? Well, SMART goals it's an acronym. It stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-based. And I'm just going to run through this really quickly, an example of what a SMART goal is. Now, this example of a SMART goal is by a CEO of ProStratix, and his name is Brian Carnes. And this is for his consulting group, and I'll give you an example of what he did. So he was very specific with his goals. He said he wanted to win 6 projects per month. He made sure that it was measurable. The number of projects is obvious, but we know to get 6, we need to have 12 proposals, 24 pitches, and 48 warm prospects. It was obtainable. He knew that he was able to obtain this goal. Last year, we averaged 5.2 projects per month, and we have been growing 20%. So growth rate of 15% felt attainable. It was relevant. The number and sizes of the project that they won each month directly ties to the top and bottom line. And then it was time-bound. They were able to do it in a certain time frame. We measure our performance monthly, incredibly important for staffing and contingency planning. So the one thing that I want to say about goals is you really want to write them down. It's great to have a goal in your head, but you really want to write them down and place them in a position where you can see them. And we'll talk more about goals a little bit later. Now, I know we were speaking about what to do before the motivation's gone, but what do you start doing? What things can you do once the motivation is gone, when you don't feel like continuing, when you don't feel like continuing with your business, but you don't feel like continuing with your plans or your projects? And one of the things I believe is staying positive. You know, a lot of times when we start to lose motivation, we have a very negative mindset. You know, we've been being down, life has happened, we may have personal problems, we may have professional problems, and we start having a very negative mindset. we feel as though we may not be able to do things. We talk negative to ourselves. I know when I was going through the year of hell, that was a problem that I was having, and that's why I believe things weren't going the way that I needed them to go. Even though a lot of things that were occurring outside of my control, I realized once I switched my mindset from that of a negative mindset to a positive mindset, things started changing for me. You see, the thing about having a negative mindset is when you are negative, you don't see a lot of the opportunities that are surrounding you. You have a lack of energy. And your business relationships and your personal relationships, they may not be as great. Now, does anyone have a peer, maybe a boss, a coworker, or a friend who's always negative or who's always just very pessimistic? When we have these peers or these coworkers, we may not want to really associate ourselves with them. We may not ask them for help. We may not want to partner up with them. And when you are in a negative mindset, even if you don't realize it, you start to realize that your peers, they may not want to build with you. They may not want to build projects with you. They may not want to partner up with you. And that's because people tend to gravitate towards people who are going to uplift them. Now, once you start switching your mindset from that of a negative mindset to a positive mindset, things start changing. Your business relationships and your personal relationships get better. You get that boost of energy. You can see more opportunities. And one way that, I'm only going to speak about one way today. So one way that you can really boost yourself and also give yourself that positive growth mindset is positive affirmations. Now, I greatly believe in positive affirmations. And I tell people, when you have that negative self-talk, when you have that negative mindset, what you want to do is when you're telling yourself that negative thoughts, you want to push that negative thought out and replace it with maybe one or two positive affirmations. Now, positive affirmations are just positive statements that you continuously tell yourself. So an example of a positive affirmation is, I am focused, I am persistent, and I will never quit. So when you're telling yourself, oh, you know what, like I can't keep going forward, you know, this project isn't working out the way that I wanted to, you want to take that opportunity to push that thought out of your mind and tell yourself, I am focused, I am persistent, and I will never quit. Now, I'm not going to go too much into the studies, but there have been several studies conducted that shows that positive affirmations really do help people get through bad times, help them accomplish their goals. I'll mention one study. A study in social, cognitive, and affective neuroscience showed self-affirmations activate brain systems associated with self-related processing and rewards and is reinforced by future orientation. Affirmations can decrease stress, increase well-being, improve academic performance, and make people more open to behavior change. And what we're really looking for in that study was the behavior change. By constantly telling yourself these positive affirmations, it can help change your behavior to that of a positive behavior and help you stay more focused. So another thing that you want to do when the focus is not there and the motivation is not there to help you get refocused is looking at the bigger picture. Now, I know I told everyone when you are writing your SMART goals, make sure you write them, make sure you keep them in a place that you can see, because you want to look at and that's where this comes in place. So you want to re-examine your goals. You want to look at your goals and try and put yourself in a position where you are feeling the emotions that you felt when you first wrote those goals. You want to put yourself in a position where you're looking at the goals that you want to accomplish and you can see right in front of you why you started. A lot of times when we lose motivations, we lose track of why we really started in the first place. You know, as a business consultant, I work with a lot of entrepreneurs. I work with startups. I work with people more in the beginning stages of their business. And, you know, as they start building and as they're launching these beautiful, amazing companies, they are really excited. But then reality hits them because entrepreneurship, it's not an easy thing. Starting your company is not an easy thing. And what happens is they get so caught up in so many different areas in the business. They have no more motivation. They're arguing with their partners. And I tell them, re-examine your goals. There was a reason why you started this company. And this can be for starting a company. This can be for starting a project. This can be for starting school. This can be starting anything that you're excited about. You started this for a reason. And somewhere along the lines, you lost track of why you started this. You lost track of why you wanted to accomplish these goals. So let's go ahead and pull up the SMART goals and the action plans that we had, and let's really look why you started it. And as you're looking through your goals, as you're looking through your plans, again, you want to find that emotion again. You want to be able to put yourself in the position of that wide-eyed, hungry person. And then once you see this is why you started, you start to go over what went wrong. So you look at the plan, you look at the goals, and you can kind of see, what can I change? How am I not staying true to my plan, or is my plan not working? And by re-examining it, you can start changing the things that may not be working, or you can tweak things so they can start working in your favor again. And that's why I always say, keep your goals written down and keep them close to you. Now, something else that I am very, very big on is visualization. Now, again, I had a couple studies listed, but we won't really go into those. With visualization, you really want to visualize the goal that you had. You really want to put yourself in a position where you can close your eyes and see yourself accomplishing that goal. You see yourself doing what you plan to do. Now, there were several studies by the NIH where they said that when people do visualization, when they really put themselves in that position where they're closing their eyes and they really believe that they are there, the mind can't tell the difference between whether they're actually doing it or whether it's just in their mind. And they did these studies with athletes. I think there's this one study that I thought was really cool where they had a bunch of Olympic track stars and they told them to visualize themselves running on the track. And this was a very interesting study, to me at least, because as they closed their eyes, as they sat down and they were connected to a bunch of different machines measuring things, when they started visualizing themselves running, the fibers in their muscles started firing. Now, even though they weren't running, their body was behaving in a way where they were about to start running. And it also showed that people who visualized themselves, they were able to accomplish more. They were able to push further. They did this with a study with people in the gym where they had two separate controlled groups. And one controlled group, before they worked out, before they ate, they would visualize themselves accomplishing their goals, versus a group where they just told them to go ahead, work out, go ahead and eat healthy. Now, they did the same exact thing. The only difference between the two groups was the visualization. And the group that visualized themselves working out beforehand, the group that visualized themselves eating healthy, and the group that visualized themselves actually accomplishing the goal actually lost more weight than the other controlled group. And it was just amazing how much, if we believe it in the mind, it's easier for us to accomplish it in real life. Now, another thing that can really help us stay focused when the motivation is leaving is remaining future-minded while dealing with the present. You know, a lot of times, especially with my life coaching clients, we tend to live in the past, whether it was a negative experience, whether it was a positive experience. We tend to focus on the past and maybe the mistakes that we made or maybe the amazing goals that we accomplished. But as we're living in the past, we're not necessarily focusing on the future, and we're not putting ourselves in a position where we're going to be future-oriented. You see, it's great to accomplish, it's great to celebrate the accomplishments that we had in the past. And it is good to look at our mistakes and learn from them. But we can't live in the past and we can't dwell in the past. What we need to do is, yes, learn from the past, see what worked or or what didn't work, and then put ourselves in the present, put ourselves here in the here and now. And as we're in the here and now, we make the plans, we focus in on what we have to do now in order to get us where we need to go in the future. Now, another thing that really helps keep us focused is consistency. Now, I know a lot of people have a hard time with consistency, but consistency really is one of the keys to success. You know, Thomas Edison said, "I didn't fail 1,000 times. The light bulb was an invention with 1,000 steps. Great success is built on failure, frustration, and even catastrophe." Now, it's hard, and trust me, I know because I experienced it. It is hard to stay consistent when things may not be going your way. It is hard to put out the efforts when things may be going wrong. But if you want to reach the success that you are looking to achieve, if you want to continue on your success journey, you have to learn to stay consistent. And that's where building those positive habits prior to losing focus comes in. Because even if you don't have the motivation, even if you don't want to keep going, if you stay consistent, if you keep working on it day in and day out, and you put the energy into it, the success will come. And of course, along the way, you may have to tweak things because what we can see in our mind may not be perfect. You know, you can write a business plan that looks amazing on paper, but as you go and you start executing it, you may see that you need to change things because times change, people change. We are not psychic. We cannot see the future. We don't know how markets are going to react. But if you stay consistent with your goals, if you stay consistent with your habit, if you build that consistency and you continue pushing forward and working on it day in and day out, you will get where you need to go. And you don't need to have a ton of motivation to stay consistent because at times you will lose it. But you do need to be disciplined and you do need to build those habits beforehand in order to stay consistent even when things aren't going well. Now, something else that a lot of people don't tend to do is they don't recognize their progress. You see, motivation will start to wind down. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what job you have, what project you're working with. You have to stay fully motivated. But you have to recognize the progress that you're making. And a lot of times when we are looking at our goals, we're looking at that end goal. And we're not necessarily focusing on the journey. But the journey is extremely important. The journey towards success is almost as relevant as success. And as you're moving through the journey, as you're accomplishing those smaller goals, you should recognize the progress that you are making. You should celebrate the small progress that you are making because those small progresses are the stepping stones to your larger goal. Now, when you're looking at your larger goal, it is way out there. I mean, it is completely out there. It's that big mountain that you need to climb. And it can be daunting. It can be frustrating. It can cause a lot of stress. It can cause a lot of stress because that mountain is so high and it's so far away. And in order to stay focused, in order to stay motivated, you have to break that mountain into tiny little steps. You have to make tiny little smarter goals. And as you crush these smaller goals, recognize your progress. Celebrate the smaller success. Understand that these smaller goals are what's going to take you to the top. It's what's going to take you all the way to the top of that mountain. Now, something else I see a lot of people do is they'll forget who they are. They'll lose their confidence. And that can be a really hard thing. You know, you can put your all into something. I mean, you can put hours and hours into a project that may not seem like it's working. And at a certain point, you may have to go back to the drawing board. And that's hard. That can really put a damper on your confidence. That can really stop you from going at it again. And I'm here today to let you know that It's okay. And when that does happen, you may lose motivation. You may feel stressed out. You may be anxious. But at the end of the day, you really have to remember who you are and why you started. So again, going back to those goals, why did you start? And when you get to that position where, it could have been a complete and total failure and you may not have the motivation to keep going, remember who you are and why you started. And start working on rebuilding your confidence by using those positive affirmations, by using, we didn't go into meditation today, but by using meditation, by using visualization. Work on rebuilding your confidence so when you go at it again, because you're not a quitter, you're not going to quit. I know the motivation is low, but you are not a quitter. You're going to keep going, and you're going to remember who you are, and you're going to build your confidence, and you're going to learn from your mistakes. And once you do that, you can have the focus to go at the project or at the company again. Now, the last thing that I'm going to leave you guys with is when you're losing motivation is accountability. Now, to me, accountability is a really, really big thing, especially if you are a business owner, especially if you're an entrepreneur, especially if you're working on a project by yourself. Accountability is something that can really help push you forward when you feel like falling. Now, a couple ways to have accountability when you're working alone or if you're an entrepreneur or if you don't really have a team behind you is by working with a life coach, by going to a mastermind group, by going to a Rotary group like this, by having a team behind you, by having peers with you that can help you when you think you can't go at it anymore. I really love introducing people to mastermind groups because with mastermind groups, everyone is coming together and they have a goal. And it can be completely different goals, but it's somehow similar. And as you sit in these mastermind groups and you're speaking with your peers, you tell your peers what you would like to accomplish. And they listen to you, they listen to your plan, but on the same notes, they are also telling you what they want to accomplish and what they want to do. And you build this community together, and when it looks like one person is falling, the community can rally behind that person. The community can help that person. The mastermind group can go ahead and tell them, hey, listen, last week you said you were trying to accomplish X, Y, and Z by this amount of time. How's that progress coming? What's slowing you down? You can use your mastermind group. You can use your club. You can use these people to help you stay focused even when you don't feel like moving forward. You want to hold each other accountable. You want to be there for each other. And you really just want to surround yourself with like-minded people who you can help. Because remember, these mastermind groups are not just about you, it's about the community that you can help and they can help you as well. So to wrap things up, there are several ways to help you stay focused when the motivation is gone. There's never going to be a time when you are working on a business, a company, a project, where the motivation is going to stay high. There's going to be times when things are going to start to slip. There's going to be times where you don't feel like going, and there's going to be times when you just may not feel like doing it. And when that happens, it's okay. It's okay because everyone feels that way. But you have to put things in place to help you keep going because you do not want to give up on your goals. You want to build positive habits. You want to eliminate negative habits. You want to write down these SMART goals that you can look back at and be like, you know what? I know what I want to accomplish. I may have lost track, but I can keep going. You want to stay consistent. You want to recognize the amazing progress that you're making. You want to be able to build your confidence and remember who you are. And you want to be able to put yourself in a position where you are surrounded by like-minded people that can hold you accountable and that can help you just keep going forward on your success journey. And I want to thank you guys so much for having me on today. I hope you guys learned something about things that will motivate you to do things.
Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you.
No problem. Does anyone have any questions?
I got to unmute David. Well, you're still muted. I'll try to unmute him.
Okay.
I don't know. He's got himself muted. Unmute you, David. Anyway, I don't know. Sometimes things work really well.
Okay.
Maybe Howard, maybe you could tell him to unmute him.
I could try. I don't know if I can from my end. It's not working.
I think it just
He's talking there now. Then, no, now it's back.
You got to click on your microphone, David, and unmute you. No.
There. Oops. There, David.
Oh.
You're not unmuted.
Oh. Okay. There you go.
Oops. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Chat. Who's chatting? Thank you, Mel. We appreciate it. Thank you. I'm glad, Michael, you joined us.
Do you want to do the four-way
You
test?
were muted, David. Now you're unmuted. And oh, it's a new head. Okay, you're unmuted now. So everybody can hear what you're talking about.
I can't hear him.
He has a new headset, and this is the first time he's used it. And so now then, maybe he can hear us. Or not.
I don't hear him.
I don't either.
Okay, you want to do the four-way test? You want to do it, Linda?
You want to close out with the... Okay, and also, Mel, if you're interested in joining, Howard can send you an application. Like I said, this is a convenient way to attend Rotary meetings. We are a fun group. We're small, but we do a lot. And so anyway, David, are you there yet? Talk, David.
Okay. I'll also send you a link to the video.
Anyway, yeah, we'll send you a link and Howard will send you an application. And maybe we can get his new headsets
To work.
fixed. And
Why don't you
so
do
I
it,
guess we
Linda?
should-
You do the four-way test.
close with a four-way test of the things we think, say, or do. First,
Is it
is
the
it the
truth?
truth? Second,
Is it fair to all concerned?
Third,
Will it build goodwill and better
will it build
friendships?
goodwill and better friendships? And fourth,
Will
will
it
it
be beneficial to
be
all
beneficial
concerned?
to all concerned. And that's our four-way test that we say at every meeting around the world. And if you do that, you'll succeed in your business. So thank you. And if David has any further if not, Howard, you can go ahead and cut the recording.
Okay, I'm shutting
Okay,
you off.
bye-bye.
Bye.